We have now resigned from Villa, as you're aware, but during this episode we're going to jump through 5 and then 10 years and do a little bit of a summary on our transfers, see how they went on as well. I'm a fiend for a transfer, a big fan. What I would say though, if you are enjoying me being with Villa, then go over, watch the Doleboy Series. I'm going to scoot it up here for you. And the main aim of that is to get to Villa, win the Champions League. So hop on over there and have a little watch of the video. But what we should do now, really, is scoot forward 5 years and then 10, see what's been going on. Welcome back. Technically the 5th episode. We've got our resignation news bulletin thing. It has Gerardo Suan, I don't have a clue how to pronounce this fella's name, Peter Bosch and Hassan Hootel as the 3 potential managers. Our best player is Alban Lafont, the goalkeeper. Pretty good signing from me. I think 10 million we brought him in for. I wasn't expecting him to be anywhere near as good as he was. And our hot prospect is the goalkeeper. Probably going to replace Lafont in a few years. We'll see what happens to Can Goonish. When we took over, our first season saw us in 13th. Then we progressed up to 10th. And then 6th. And most recently we finished 9th. I'm just looking for further improvement from the team. I didn't want to go any further, as I said in the end of that episode. So we'll let the next manager, whoever takes over, do that for us. Let's jump forward to May 2030. We are 5 years in the future. One thing you've probably noticed on the screen, the Villa manager's job is insecure, which isn't a good sign. Let's hop straight into the team, see where they are. So they finished most recently in 15th. How do we want to go through this? Do we want to go year by year? We'll go transfers firstly. We'll see if the transfers will give us any sort of idea as to what they've been doing. So the year in which we left, they brought in the following players. I'm just going to kind of scoot over the big ins and big outs. We sold Ginter for 39 million to Leipzig. Considering I signed him a year before that for 12.5, and he would have been 33 at that time, happy days. Yes, so Calvert-Lewin was the one that we brought in, and that was the same season we brought in Ginter. So it must have been at the very end of this season they sold him. They also let go Douglas Luiz for 20.5 million. St. Yago went for 20.5, with Glenn Kamara coming the other way. What a signing. And we then also sold Trincao to West Ham for 15.5, and they brought in Issa Diop for 38. So realistically, we've gave them Trincao and St. Yago, and they've gave us Diop and Kamara. Definitely stinky transfers from our manager there, in my opinion. We will jump on to the next year. Zach Steffen also came in, Milenkovic, Jadon Anthony, and Jeremy Boga, who I believe actually spent a few years at Birmingham. No, just the one. He spent 1 season there. It's pretty good now. Following season, we brought in, I've gone the wrong way, Gabriel Barbosa from PSG for 35, Nicolas Dominguez from Bologna for 29, and Solanke for some reason, but we'll just move past that one. Pretend that didn't happen. We sold Tariq Lamptey, 56 million, to Man U. There's a lot of sales going on, and players are being replaced with ones that I don't think are stronger, to be quite honest. Alvarez went to Napoli for 30.5, raising to 37. Palacios went for 33, and Christensen went to Tottenham for 16.2. This is making me think that we've had a little bit of a drop. Bringing the money in, but are we respending it? Doesn't really look like it, does it? Next season, we brought... I wish they'd just order these automatically. Following season, brought in a Luka Sucic from Salzburg. Is he real? He is real. It's Croatian. He's out leafering at the start of the game. Then Francisco Sierralta and Morata for 3.1, who's since retired. We sold Issa Diop for 17 million, so they lost 11 million on Diop in 2 years. Released Louis Barry. Released that Molina, the striker that I bought, the young one. And they've released Chrisane, who I'm pretty sure are all good young prospects. Not sure why they did that. Orbin Pineda, don't even know when they picked him up. Jadon Anthony was sold, and I've let go of Ollie Watkins. Not happy about that. I don't care if he's 34 now. Not pleased. The following season, Keane Lewis Porter, 36 million. Again, there's no big signings. Chukwuemeka, they sold Chukwuemeka. What are they doing? I'm so upset. This is... Buendia's gone on a free as well. Following year, signed Szymanski from Dortmund for 19 million. Sold Barbosa then. I swear, they're just constantly bringing in people, holding them for a year or so, and then losing them for about a third of the price they paid for them. It's not good. We'll go now to the team and we'll see what they've done. So, our last season we finished 6th. Then the following year, our last season we finished 6th, then dropped to 9th. This is one when we retired. They did drag them all the way up to 6th, then finished 17th, so just on the cusp of relegation. And then the following year, finishing 14th. Angelo is still there. Between 38 and 115 million he's worth. What's he been up to? Pretty good. Pretty goddamn good. Surprised he hasn't left for £3 million. Who else? Seiko Fati? Actually, what was the goalkeeper saying? Because I think they should have both of them still here. So who's actually playing in goal? Gunesh is now playing in goal. He's worth between 13.5 and 41. So where's Lafont, if that's the case? Is he in the reserves? Where is Lafont? Have I missed him? Has he gone? Let me have a little Google. Alban Lafont has found his way over to Barcelona on a deal for 26 million. I just completely missed it. I really missed it. Sold him to Arsenal for 53 million. When did that happen? Bear with me a second. Was that literally the point when I left? It must have been. So they sold... Yeah, Ginter here. So it must have been on this part. There he is. So yeah, he left almost immediately after I resigned. Arsenal signed him off us for 53 million. That, pretty good signing. Or sale, should I say. I don't know. It just seemed to get progressively worse, the transfers did. Very annoying. What do we do cup-wise? So if I go onto the history and competitions, I can have a little look through that. So Premier League, as we know, was 9th, 8th, 6th, 17, 14, and 15 for the most recent season. With a minus 22 goal difference. That's not good. Championship, we don't need to worry about. Europa League. So we lost in the second knockout round to Atletico. So if we jump to that, we see that Atletico knocked them out 3-1 on both legs. Less than ideal. We'll go backwards on the first knockout round. So they qualified from their group as winners. And the group consisted of Roma, Fenerbahce and Gil Vicente. Really strong. 100% record. Brilliant. And then the very next round, knocked out. Less than good. The FA Cup, after losing in the semi-final here, they lost in the third round, lost in the final, lost in the semi-final, and then consecutively lost in the fourth round. EFL Cup, what's that, fourth round, quarter-final, semi-final, quarter-final, third round. So they're challenging, but they're not really doing much. So overall, they've not really been up to too much. I'm a bit concerned now, when we jump forward the further 5 years, that it's just going to be probably seeing them in the Championship. We are now 10 whole years since I resigned. My guy's still knocking about. He's never officially retired. Fair play to him. We will have a little look where Villa are. So if I just type the name in, hopefully it will pop up and say that they're in the Premier League. Very good. I'll jump also to the general. We'll just go straight in, see what they've done in the last 5 years. So 2030. This was at the last point we were, 15th. They did jump up to 9th for 2 seasons consecutive. And then finished 14, 13 and 15. So kind of edged then into mid-table obscurity. Rather than now going through the transfers and looking what's happened in the past 5 years, I'm going to go through my transfers or my big signings and see how they were. Give myself a little pat on the back if needs, or push down the stairs. It's probably more likely. But I'm going to jump in, just see the managers first. So I resigned. Then they brought in Ruben Amorim, who was sacked after two and a half years. Gary Dicker was then... Actually, we'll get rid of the caretakers. We don't care about them. They replaced Amorim with Pep Guardiola. Couldn't do anything, Pep couldn't. Was there for a year, from 28 to 29. I will just double check, see if that lines in with the fact that when they finished 6th. But I don't think it will. Then Alexander Stanojevic was there for less than a year. And Philippe Clement Nearly 5 years he was with us. Long, long time. He's currently the France manager. Did that say he resigned as well? He did, so he was doing quite good. He resigned and then took the job of the French national team. And he was replaced by Roberto De Zerbi. Not too bad, not too bad. So when was Pep? February 28 to March 29. So it doesn't seem that he was there for a complete season, which isn't particularly good for him. But we'll go 28-29. So this is the season when he joined. So he kind of dragged them up towards mid-table. And then the following season, he finished mid-table. See, Pep couldn't even get him out of mid-table obscurity. We'll have a little look at those signings now. I'm only going to look at the ones that I kind of left at the club. We'll see if we made money on them and what happened there. Thiago Almada. So he joined for 5 million, was then sold for 7.75. That was one of the first ones that we were looking at when we went through the first 5 years. So we made a little bit of a profit on him. It wasn't as good as I thought he would be. It doesn't seem to be as good as he has been in previous football managers. Julian Alvarez was another one. We know that we sold him because, again, when we were looking through the 5 years, bought him in for 5 million, sent him out on loan for 1 year. He was with the team for a few years and then Napoli picked him up for 30.5 million. And he's been pretty goddamn good for Napoli there. If I can jump back to him, he's worth 3 to 9k. He is now 35, to be fair. And he's going to go over to Lyon for his last few seasons. Following year, we had St. Yago, but as we know, he left. Annoyingly, we lost 17 million on this centre-back that turned into that centre-back. I just don't get it. I just don't understand how the game valued him so poorly. And we have Perez and Molina, both of whom I believe left on free transfers. So Molina, went to Tenerife on a free, and Perez did likewise, but he went over to, where are we? Hull. And then immediately, he went to Sunderland and then immediately went for 12 million to Fulham. Brilliant. And our third season, we saw Umar Soleil, who came over to the club for 18.75 million and had been there for 11 years, playing pretty well. You can actually see the top of the dog's cone. She's got a poorly foot, so she's got one of the cones of shame on her head at the moment. It's rather amusing. After that, we had Scalvini, who was a youngster who we picked up. Brought him in for 4.5 million, sold him then to QPR for 8.5, and then just didn't really make much of a dent into any team, really. Trincao, as we know, also left the team when St. Yago went, so we made a small profit on him. Played pretty well then for West Ham and Atletico the following seasons. Namdi Collins was another young centre-back that we brought in. We signed him on a free, sold him to QPR for 7 million. They then sold him to Cologne, who then sold him to Bayern, who then sold him for Dortmund. So he's back at his old club and just progressively went for more money. Annoyingly so, we didn't see a vast transfer, but we weren't really giving him a game time to be able to do that, unfortunately. We know about Lafont, but I'm going to go back. We're going to go back and watch it again. Pick him up, 10 million. 2 years down the line, sell him for 53. What are you saying? Then Barcelona and Monaco. I'm wondering if this season, them picking up that 27 million for Lafont allowed them then to sign Emre Can? No, he's a centre mid. Cangudes. This Emil Cheed or whatever his name is, he's still at the club. Came in for 8 million. Had a lot of very good seasons. A few ones that were just off the boil, but played overall pretty goddamn good. Following that up, we had Jimenez and Dumfries, who have retired, but we haven't got their history for some reason. Ginter we're aware of. I'm going to click on Angelo because I want to know what he's been doing. He's been at the club since 24, so this is his 10th season, and almost every year he's hit a 7 average rating. He is very good. Be interesting to see if I can pick him up in some of my other saves maybe, and actually play the guy. We're aware of Palacios and, Lamptey actually. No, I did see that one, 56 million. So we're aware of those two sales, that we made quite a bit of money on them. And I don't believe... No, so these aren't mine. These are happening the year after I left. So we did all right, as signings overall. I'm pretty happy with that. And then overall, what I am going to do is just jump through the few leagues. Just see who won them all the whole time we were there. So Bristol won. Got relegated. Won the league again. Bournemouth, Norwich, Burnley, Baggies, Leeds. Pretty usual teams to be picking up there. Premiership was won by... So it went Man City, as it does in real life last year. Then Arsenal, Liverpool, Liverpool, Man U, Chelsea, 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 Man City, Man City, Man U, Liverpool, Chelsea, Man City. So it is spread around, but it's spread around only 4 teams. The Carabao Cup, pretty similar winners actually, except the fact that you've got Palace and Newcastle and Sheffield United sneaking their way in there. But yeah, your usual big 4, big 5 really. And the FA Cup had quite a little bit more. So Stoke won it in that final year, which we were aware of, which was very frustrating. But then followed Liverpool, Arsenal, West Ham squeezing in. Again, it's just pretty much top 4 and then 1 or 2 kind of anomalised years. The Europa League, on the other hand, quite a few teams in there that I wouldn't expect to be seeing. I'm not going to read through them all, but we've got the likes of Sporting getting to a final, Newcastle winning it, Juventus picking it up 2 years in a row, Parma squeezing their way all the way to a Europa League win. That's quite impressive, actually. I'm not sure what they've been doing. They've been doing their own version. Where are we? We'll go to their general. They've just generally been a pretty decent team, finishing 4th and then winning the league, the Europa League that year. Fair play to them. Champions League will go up and do the same. That is less surprising. Liverpool, PSG, Man City, and then Man U and Chelsea squeezing in there as well for a year. That's pretty bland. Leverkusen got to a final at least, so well done for them. The European Championships, after this heartbreak, we had Germany winning it back-to-back years, and France most recently. So doing pretty well. And for some reason, the host to Scotland, Wales, and then the following year was England. So it's very kind of UK-centric, except we didn't get anywhere near winning it. And finally, the World Cup. And finally, the Nations League. England won the Nations League at least. Let's jump over and see the World Cup, wherever that might be. World Cup, UEFA quali. Oh, it's because I'm in Europe. That'd be why. World Cup. There we go. And we'll go over to past winners. Grand. Chile. Chile won the World Cup. So Italy beat Portugal. And then the following year, England beat Portugal. And then the year after that, the tournament after that, Chile beat Portugal. And then Germany beat Brazil. So it's just not good for Portuguese-speaking teams, is it, by the looks of that? Good to see England win. Have we got anyone particularly exciting? Rashford, Bellingham, Foden, Saka, Rice, and Alfie Lowe. Are you real? No. So we've only got one player that's a regen that's came through that's able to squeeze into that. Declan Rice at 36 is still one of England's best players. Foden's 35. Yeah, and the 37-year-old Rashford is England's best player. Overall, I think we did pretty well. The following managers did slightly worse. And transfers, I don't even want to get into that. It was horrendous. Good to see England win a little bit of silverware though. We done pretty good. I'm going to keep the save file for a little bit. If there's anything that you think I've missed and you want me to ask, pop it in the comments and I'll obviously find the answer and get it for you. But yeah, I hope you've enjoyed the journey.